comes out on Thursdays. And of course, these two gentlemen are very strong in what they have to say, and they are always accurate and precise. They don't give you no misleading information. You won't get it from them. Now, somebody else will do it. AI will give it to you. So now I did tell you that there's going to be a big rally at the University of Wolf Road on Monday coming. Now, I did ask for sponsors and Bahamians. I need you to send me an email today. If you didn't send it yesterday, please send it today and say, Professor, I want to support you with this rally. I have to be there, Bahamians, because we got to get accurate and precise information. We cannot depend on sources sometimes we used to depend on because the parties have been complaining about people making and giving false information, and it could very well happen that a source you trusted in the past could be deceived and misled, unknown to them, and they just pass it on. It happened to me once, right here on this radio station. I immediately apologized to my listeners for the information that we thought was accurate and precise. It came from a credible source, so we took it and we ran with it. Now, when that comes again, we're going to do some serious checking on everything now, even though the source may appear to be credible. And I'm not saying that they did it deliberately and intentionally, it's just that they got misinformation. So when you get misinformation, you pass it on to someone, they pass it on to someone, and then everybody is deceived and misled. Now, that ain't gonna happen on this radio station. So I'm calling on you, sponsors out there, individuals, send me that email. The email address is the State of the Nation, TAGSTATE, State of OF, the TAG, Nation, NATION, 242, that's the figure, 242 at hotmail.com. No, at gmail.com. Let me make sure I get it right. The State of the Nation, 242 at gmail.com. Send it in today, Bahamians. We need to get that money in quickly so we can line up for this first rally. It's going to be at the University of Wolf Road. I got to go back to the University of Wolf Road by the Progressive Liberal Party. And I did tell you yesterday I have to be at all of these rallies that they're having so I could get actual information. So no one has to be arguing over, did he say this? Did she say that? And you know how much time we waste? You know how much valuable, precious time we waste just by arguing over simple points like that. So once you give us the opportunity now, you got to give us the opportunity to be able to cover these rallies, and there'll be quite a few of them. So Monday is the first one now. Bahamians, I got to be there. So I'm counting on you to send your email to me and put your phone numbers on the email. We will write you back. My team will write you back, and I will call you. We will give you the information. We'll let you know what the cost is, and we can move from there. Of course, up the radio show. You know, we need more sponsors for the radio show. The state, Express Yourself on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. You want me to stay on the airwaves, you know. You say you love what Professor is doing. Now, this is time for you to prove it. You know the media has been gutted very badly. All them fellas, they took them and put them on government jobs. That's where they went. They are supposed to be media persons, but that's the decision they made. So I got to fill that void. There's a huge void in media today. You just give me the support payments, I'll get it done. It cannot be done without you cooperating with myself and the team. The team is a very dedicated team. We believe in being honest and upfront and straightforward with you, as I have been since I've always been on the radio station, and being quite frank and open with you. You don't see Professor playing around on anything. If he has something to say, he says it, he backs it up. And what's interesting is no one could refute it to say, that is not right. Not a living soul. They stay in the shadows. but they never challenged anything that I've said. Now, it doesn't mean that someone is not going to challenge it. You don't know when it's going to happen. So you got to be prepared. Professor's not perfect, and no one else is perfect. The possibility of making a mistake could happen. But this is a very, very important election coming up. And you need accurate and precise information, and these things have to be evaluated properly and explained to you so you can make sound decisions and good judgments. I want to be involved in helping you to choose the right person in your particular constituency. Now, you haven't done that in 52 years. You know why you haven't done it in 52 years? You have been looking at people with colors. This party color, that party color. You like this one. You like that one. You may love what kind of clothing they wear. They may say things to you and you get all excited over that. That's flesh. Don't get excited over no flesh. Flesh can't solve no problems. What have you done as a representative in that particular constituency? That is what I'm going to be campaigning on. Now, there are others who are trying to come in. And let me say to those out there who have not yet started their campaign, you got a little over a year, Bahamians. You are going to get left out in the cold if you don't get your message on this radio station as of today. Well, maybe you got to start tomorrow. But you got to call me today. I said, Professor, I want to come on tomorrow. We will talk with you quickly, let you know what the fee is, and we'll bring you on. Bahamians, that's the way it has to be done. You got your campaign people who are supposed to be pulling for you. And let me say also to the constituents in the area, you can also have a rally for your potential candidate. Do you know that? Bahamians, you got to be creative now. Most of you are not creative. You're not using your constitutional rights, I can tell you that much. But we could fix it, Bahamians. You want better representation on the ground in your community? Because I can be doing a ground campaign all across the country. We have to do it. Because there are people that are telling a pack of lies just to get your vote. How do they say they're supposed to be Christian? You know how many people told lies in the last election? You know how many lies that were told in the by-election in Grand Bahama? Where people were talking about this is a God move, a God factor, and it came down in a crashing defeat. And yet, the people who put this crap out there didn't even come back and say, Bahamians, we made a mistake. When I talk about God, I go into you straight to tell you what God says. And you will get that from me. Because that ain't changing for nobody. It doesn't matter what color you wear. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. It doesn't matter what church you belong to. You could keep those things. But when God says it, I say you should listen to him. Because he is always right. When the Constitution tells you something, listen to the Constitution, Bahamians. The Constitution is always right. It is never, ever wrong. It could never be wrong. You know why? It's the supreme law of the land. The Holy Bible could never be wrong. Why? Because it's the supreme law of the universe. You see why I tell you I got to stick with the Holy Bible and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? That's my standard, Bahamians. And we have to live by that. Now, 51% or more of you, and I can work on this. I don't speak to them people in Fort Wayne Castle. Fort Wayne Castle people, you got to get yourself together. Because there are some things that are happening in Fort Wayne Castle I do not like. So I want you to start communicating with one another, and let's organize on the ground up there. I'm right there among you. You could always call on me. Because you know I have a lot of work to do, but I'll put aside some time to help the people of Fort Wayne Castle. Because your community is being overrun. My community is being overrun, but you have to help and assist to stop it from happening. And collectively, we can do it. And I also want you to support the show too. Send me an email and say, Professor, I want to support you with this first rally on Monday. Do it today, Bahamians. I want you to wait for tomorrow. Do it today. Send me. I want 7,000 emails. I need 7,000 sponsors because I told you they need a team, 49, just to do research work. There's plenty stuff. Now, you know what happened with Angela, Missouri, Sherman Peters. She was a remarkable diplomat. That's what they're telling me. And how many of you know who she is? How many of you in Baintown heard that name before? I've heard it several times. But I know very little about this committed daughter of the Bahamas. She died with a lot of institutional knowledge in her head. We have allowed many of our career diplomats and persons high in government who have served as well. And my understanding is, based on the reports that come to me, this woman has served well. So I have to take up and find out as much information on Angela, Missouri. I got to get it right now, Sherman Peters, because I want to do a show on that, what her career was like, what she achieved in the diplomatic corps. We need to know these things, Bahamians. So all of you who are going to follow after her will be better than she was. That's the whole purpose of history. Now listen, those of you who are alive, let me put this out while it's in my head, who have experience and training and knowledge and understanding in so many different fields. Professor doesn't know all those fields out there. Teaching, those who are doctors, those who are accountants. But very many people don't know these things because you have not made yourself available. Even I made an appeal to the accountants. I didn't get one response from the accountants, these sophisticated people who know how to count money. I got $10, I know how to count it, 1 to 10. But they got a complicated way of counting money. And so when they have these strange financial terminologies, difficult to explain to the average person, we had asked them to come in and explain. Not one came forward. But we have to work around that behavior. We can't wait on that. We have to find creative ways to deal with it. And we will once we have your support, your strong financial support. You see why I tell you we can't wait on some of these people? Price will come back and they ain't ready. We got to move on. I hear the music in the background. I thought I just started, but this is Professor Sidney McGarvey Thompson. I'm going to bring my special guest on today, and we'll have a special guest tomorrow as well. We'll have a special guest on Thursday. We got special guests right up to open line on Friday. Bahamians, it is important. I don't want you to let me down on this big University of Wolf Road rally. I want 7,000 of you to send me an email and say, Professor, I am prepared to support you. We can get that money in quickly, pay for the services we need, tell the PLP we would like to cover that rally, and we will cover it so we could get to here. Say some big names will be there. Say the Prime Minister can be there. You know I like to report on the Prime Minister. You know that. I got to get what the man say. Not what AI tell me he say. Then he'll come back and tell me, say, Professor, I didn't say that. So I got to be right there to hear him say it. And my team will record it. And then we fact check it. We come back to the studio, we go with that fine-tooth comb. That's what the man say. Let me stop. This is Professor Sidney McGarvey Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Professor, there's a lot of celebration going on in Grand Bahama. Better start there. Start with the good news. There ain't much good news around. So we better put the good news way out front. Every opportunity we get. Celebration Key has opened, and the first 5,000 guests has visited Carnival's new destination at Grand Bahama. So this is what is being reported in the Grand Bahama News. And over the phone, I've heard from at least one person. I spoke to one person that is working on the key. They're reporting that this destination is costing $600 million in total. And 5,000 guests have come. It is said to have hired more than 1,200 Bahamians. They don't say whether that's for the construction or the day-to-day operation. I don't see that here. But up to 1,200 Bahamians employed, and Celebration Key is buzzing. You know, I'm getting reports that persons have come back after leaving Grand Bahama. They're saying some persons have returned home to seek employment, and many persons were employed. Like you said, 1,200, and the hiring continues. So if any of our listeners want to call in and give us their experience, whether they work, live in the area, on the ground in Grand Bahama, we'd like to hear their view as to what is happening.
It would be nice if someone in Grand Bahama or some people in Grand Bahama could give us an understanding of what kind of jobs this particular entity is offering Bahamians and what kind of money we are looking at for these different type jobs. We've heard about jobs in the past, and Grand Bahama know they've been dashed to the ground many times. You hear about what would appear to be a good thing, and it's short-lived. It lasts for maybe a week or two, and it just fades out.
Right.
How long are these jobs? And you say 600 million for this project. What kind? What are you putting down there?
Well, it's
What they say they're putting up
a
down there?
full resort.
Or they have a hotel down there?
Yeah, it's a cruise ship destination. So it's 35 acres on the ground, 35 acres, and it's a resort. It's a destination resort.
Wait a minute now. You say the cruise ship pulls into this area.
Right, but it's also a hotel and resort. So it's not just a cruise ship. It's an actual hotel destination. So they bring the people on the cruise, but the persons can stay. They can stay whether a day, just a day if they're on the cruise ship, or they drop people off if they want to stay for 7 days or whatnot, or a 3-day package.
Okay.
So it's an actual resort. It's 25,000 square foot indoor and outdoor poolside casino.
Right.
And a 160-acre Greg Norman Championship Circuit golf course. So they pull out all the bells and the whistle on this one. It seems.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, they're off to start. Guests are on the ground. Persons are working. One person, a taxi driver, is saying, "I hope this is a sign that construction work is about to continue. Like this isn't the end. Then it is the beginning of more. Because when you have a resort like this come to a city, there's all kind of residual and offshoot businesses that are needed to support that particular property.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll have to wait to hear more as to whether or not the guests pretty much stay on the premises, or whether they're actually free to leave and take in the local offerings, restaurants.
Yes.
Professor, they building these hotels these days. You don't need to go nowhere. Once you get in the hotel, everything is there. Everything you need, right, all of the media, the restaurants, the water sports, everything is included.
That cut out the gas from going into the community.
Yeah, that cuts out a lot of the going into the community.
Have the government considered that?
Well, we'll have to
Because all the
wait
money
till.
stays with the cruise people.
Yeah, yeah, that happens a lot. It happens with some of the other, like Great Stirrup Key. We're gonna talk about that too,
Yes.
and
Okay.
Norman's Key, keys like that. Everything is self-contained, and in some cases, it does take away from the rest of the economy participating
Yes, that's
in
correct.
in the flow of revenue.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the good news, and that's as good as it's gonna get. So we're happy for Grand Bahama. We're happy
I
for
just would like someone who is knowledgeable in Grand Bomb. They could
on the
call the
grounding.
show on the ground.
Yeah, yeah,
Let us know what kind of jobs they offering, what
yeah,
kind of money they paying for
yeah.
these different type jobs.
But the one report I got was that
Uh,
they are paying according to international standards, meaning
what does that mean?
they're not what we would call entry level jobs or minimum wage
What
jobs.
does international standards mean? Who sets these standards?
Well, let's just say they would pay persons in the equivalent job in whether it's in America or in other destinations. That's just the first report I got on the ground.
Oh, okay,
Professor,
all right.
when that reports come in, we're gonna hear exactly what's going on.
Yeah, but
Now,
I would like, if anyone listening in Grand Bahama, if you could
mhm,
call the show today,
mhm,
let us know what kind of jobs, what kind of money they're paying out, because you
mhm,
should have an idea of that. And, because we've had some funny things happen in the past.
mhm,
You hear all this rejoicing and then they get dashed right on the ground. Boom.
mhm.
Okay. And you don't know when you can get hit.
Right.
So you have, something for short duration. But if someone who is knowledgeable can call in and let us know, because see, I like to deal with hardcore information
Mhm,
that is there and not superficial things because, people could give you a fanfare
mhm.
and then it's fraud straight across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But go ahead.
well, while we at it, right?
Uh-huh.
Other news coming out of Grand Bahama. The Grand Bahama Power Company seems confident that they're going to be able to, quote unquote, hold the fort with no further major outages for the summer 2025.
I think they better rethink that. See, this is the problem I've noticed. See, all they got to do is check the record of the past. I don't know why people don't check the record before you
Mhm,
start to open your mouth,
mhm,
man.
mhm.
You've been through this crap many times in the past when you think a problem is resolved. Ain't nothing happened yet.
Mhm.
Then a day or two, a week may go by and you think everything is okay. And then bing, they
Right.
drop you right in the hole.
See, because technically, what they're reasserting here, Professor, is
Mhm.
that they had equipment failure. So
How
you
many
know,
times have we heard about equipment
yeah,
failure?
yeah,
Huh? I mean, who
yeah,
you saying that to?
yeah.
What are we paying you for?
Right,
You're supposed to maintain these things.
right.
And every time you keep dropping in the hole talking about equipment failure.
Hmm.
Now they're coming up with this statement to say, they better be careful. Because then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months down the road, they start saying something else different.
Right. So see, they're saying that the load that the island requires is 55 megawatts. That's peak,
Do
right?
they have that now?
They're saying they have 74 megawatts. If that's a big if there, Professor. You always say, uh, you know, listen to what they say,
Yes, you have to.
but watch what they do as well.
You better believe it.
55 is the peak load, and they have 74 megawatts of equipment if all are running. If they're all running, it's just that when they have equipment failure, that's when they fall into problems with blackouts
But
and with
don't you
load
think
shedding.
we ought to know now
Hmm.
whether the equipment is up to standard?
Yeah, and well maintained, and
Are they being well maintained?
yeah.
We should be able to know. Mr.
Mhm.
Bruce, we have a caller? Is that Mr. Bruce?
Yes, yes. we
Oh,
have a
okay.
call.
All right. I thought I heard him. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please. I hope there's someone from Grand
Good
Bahama.
afternoon, Professor
Yes, ma'am.
Hey,
Hyla.
hey, good day.
I'm glad you called because I'm trying to figure out what kind of jobs they're offering down there and what kind of money they're paying. You know
Well,
anything about that?
I am not sure what they're doing,
Okay.
but
All right.
I have a project for Miss Hyla.
Oh, okay. But I
Okay.
that's an assignment for you.
The word that the Grand Lucaya Hotel
Uh-huh.
is going to be closing on the 15th of August.
Wow. 15 of
Now I'm
August.
wondering what is taking the Prime Minister so long to come out and announce that.
Okay.
He's hiding.
That's interesting.
Now after all of that big show they put on,
Yes, ma'am.
now the word is the hotel is closing on the 15th, and everybody's going to be let go. So, Mr. Hyler, that's a project for you.
I will get on that right away. As a matter of fact, we do have people on the ground in Grand Bahama. Global itself is in Grand Bahama as well. But I'll be on that right away. August the 15th. I wrote it down.
August the 15th
August the
is the
15th,
date.
2025. And persons are being let go. That's what you're understanding.
Yeah, that's what
That
she
the
said.
hotel is closing.
Yeah.
Closing.
Some persons have been told they will, no longer be a part of the property. It's
Wow.
closing down.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna
So
follow
you
up on that.
investigate.
We're gonna follow up on that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
But-
That's my contribution.
Thank
Well,
you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
And that
Now,
is a very
see,
strong
That's a
contribution.
very strong
Now,
contribution. Yeah.
Professor, let me say my first response to that
Yeah.
is that the caller said after all of that pomp and pageantry related
Yes,
to
and
the
they say
to
they're
the
supposed to get
Lucaya
some money. They
Hotel.
sold it.
Now, first of all, they said they sold it,
Yes.
but in the budget, it was stated that there's no account of any money
Okay.
related to the Lucaya Hotel.
sale. Yeah. Okay.
That should show up in the
budget.
books,
Yeah,
in the
okay.
budget.
Yeah.
But no such record was there, and we sort of just skipped right over that and just moved right past that and didn't really focus on that.
Right. Okay.
If the hotel property was sold, if the Grand Lucaya was sold, an amount should have been stated to the public,
Yes.
and we should have a record on the books, and we should have money in the bank.
Of course. If it was
That's the
sold.
bottom line. Or if you agreed to some payment plan or some deposit, 50% down, or
No.
any of the agreement.
You don't have no big party rejoicing and talking all that crap they had down in Grand Bahama over something like that.
With no payment
You're
plan.
supposed to
No.
have money. No,
it's supposed
ain't
to
no
be
payment
money.
plan. You're
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
money in
Yeah.
your hand.
Yeah.
Now, do they have the money? We don't know. The man ain't saying nothing.
Why all the secrecy though? Why can't the people know what you're doing with their things?
See, this is what I keep saying to the people. The people need to put pressure on the government of the Bahamas and on the representatives when it comes to these things. We don't push hard enough. We are too lax.
Definitely.
That is the problem in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas with Bahamian people. We take such a lax attitude. That's why we engulf with serious national problems and serious constituency problems.
Okay.
Yeah, the woman tell us the thing closing.
So word on the ground, it is being alleged, and the word on the ground is persons are being told that they will no longer be a part of the property or their services are no longer required.
Yes.
Now, my other response to that is if you close on a hotel, the future plan should be stated the same time. You don't just cut people off with no further announcement
Yes.
to say 3 months for renovation
Yes.
or 9 months, and then these are the terms. Just say whatever the situation is so people can understand what is going on. So
Yes.
I don't understand why that would be so quiet, and it would be interesting. August 5th is not far away.
She said the 15th.
The
if I'm not
15th,
mistaken.
the
Yes,
15th.
Yeah. That's what
So,
I heard she said.
Yeah,
15th,
yeah. The reason why I say August 5th, let me put it out there anyway.
August the 15th.
August 5th is my birthday, so that's why.
Oh, that's your birthday. You know, we
Yeah,
got to have
yeah,
some wine and cake.
Yeah.
Can't let you get away with that.
Yeah, that's why the 5th
Oh,
came
okay.
out so easily.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's
August
all right.
the 15th, we will
Yes.
be watching that date,
Yes.
and we would be shocked to know that announcement would be kept private to employees, but not told to the public. So we'll watch that. Now, yeah, we haven't heard any reports concerning the Lucayo Hotel, the
Okay.
Grand Lucayo. We haven't heard anything about it. But
If-
Professor,
let me just say this to
Mhm.
people in Grand Bahama. Any other person in Grand Bahama
yes,
who have any information. This is why we tell you, Grand Bahama, you got to help us out with this, you know.
Mhm.
Information on the jobs that these people say they're offering at this particular key.
Yeah.
What kind of money they paying? What kind of jobs?
Right.
See, when they talk about these international standards, I don't know nothing about that.
Mhm.
I don't know what that means. Because we have no input into what supposed to be the so-called international standards.
Mhm.
And this is the problem I have with the way we operate things in this country. We have no input. But the man come talking about international standards. What kind of international standards?
Mhm.
We do not ask the right questions. That's another problem with Bahamian people. We ask off-the-wall questions that have no relevance
Mhm.
to the particular situation at hand. How we get mixed up like this?
Hmm.
We just let people put all kind of crap on top of us.
Hmm.
We just lap it up. Oh, come on, Bahamians, we got to do better than this. Anyone in Grand Bahama, please call today.
Mhm.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Call me today, because tomorrow is a different day. We got a different guest on for tomorrow.
Mhm.
The point is, Bahamians, while that I appreciate my good friend in Grand Bahama, and ma'am, continue to keep us informed. We appreciate your support, because it's people like you I'm going to be counting on. And also, you said them people, what that statement you made about the Grand Bahama Power Company? What did this group say?
Well, they are saying that they have sufficient equipment. It's just that when they have power failure, that's when they have to go into load shedding.
Well, the equipment is failing.
Clearly.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
we got a guest on. Maybe there's
Yeah,
one from
yeah.
Grand Bahama. Call you live on here. I say.
Hey, good afternoon, Professor. Right, radio
go
back,
ahead.
Professor. Professor, that's what I enter on when you're talking international.
I think caller you drop a bit.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Your call dropped.
Oh, I say I just enter when you all was talking about the international standard and something clicked my mind.
But
You don't click my mind?
hold on, caller. Hold on. I have a problem with that because I keep hearing that kind of crap all the time.
Mhm.
I have no input into the so-called international standards. Now, somebody else make up some other foolishness and nonsense and telling me that's international. But how you could tell me that's international and put that crap on me, I have no input into it.
And that's
So
that's
if
where
I
we need to-
no, the problem I have with the so-called international standards, these are things other people are making up and putting it on us and talk about international standards. Where is the input from the Bahamas? None. You just tell me what some people in one room somewhere talking, drinking something, eating something, and they talk about international standards. Give me a break, man. That's an international standard the way how they close in the hotel too, eh? Huh?
but see,
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Professor, see why we need to send a lot. Just I can say it. I don't know. I wish I had a white person to say the things I want to say. That's why we can be messed up. They don't even talk about our constitution. You can't send half Bahamian. You know someone Bahamian we can say ho ho ho. But in fact, let me show you an example. Now, if you're talking about like how I see everybody broken up them statues, broken up all these different statues. I just using this example. If I was a Bahamian, right? If I was there, I could say whole lot. We even put them statues up. And that statue out there by British Colonial, I don't know what them white people put in that. You cannot move that. You cannot touch that. If you touch that, the I don't know. And I know the story, but but Columbus,
Yeah.
he trying to just what Professor, I must say this for who I get the story from. I get this from the drunk group people. But they do research. They say, listen, that man of Columbus statue, he's trying to put it all over Nassau. And they say, listen here, take that statue and put it on your own land, what you bought. Right? That's the history of that statue. Professor, listen to me. If we keep sending people who don't know that Constitution, they be bringing all kind of foolishness. Talking about gender and our opinion.
Yeah.
Gender is not a person. God said, I made them male and female, and that's Bible. And we got the Christian thing in our Constitution.
Yeah.
So where you bringing that here for?
Oh,
That's
you're
like
quite
that's it.
right.
I gone.
Yeah, Carly,
Okay.
you're quite right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I got to talk about that one of these days.
Yeah.
You got to go deep into this gender foolishness.
Definitely.
Okay, a
Definitely.
male and female.
Mm-hmm.
Now they say they got 75. What you said? What the numbers again? 75 watts of
Yeah,
megawatts.
74 megawatts.
Oh, 74 megawatts.
That's how much equipment they have.
oh,
And
equipment.
That's how much equipment.
Uh-huh.
They can generate 74 megawatts if all of the equipment is working. 74
Notice what you said. That's a big if.
if all of the equipment.
They should know now whether the equipments are working.
Well, I agree. And they said 55 megawatts is the peak.
Is the peak.
55 is the peak. So they're establishing that they do have enough equipment. It's just a matter of whether all of it is functional.
Yeah, but
and they have had problems.
You could have a bunch of cars, but none of them could move. Then what? You got equipment, but the equipment is broke down.
So you got to get on the bus.
You got to get on the bus. Yeah.
Professor, the root
Yes, sir.
of this problem, we've said over and over again, is that there is no competition. They don't have to reinvest. They don't have to do many things. The maintenance schedule, I'm sure that they keep things maintained, but the nature of equipment is that they fail. The
But
better
they-
you
But
maintain
every
them.
time
you
when
know.
you hear them talking crap about
Mhm.
equipment failure,
Mhm.
that's no excuse.
Well, on top of that, they have, I believe they have 2 solar farms tied into the system. But as we learned from Mr. Iram Lewis when you interviewed him,
Yes.
there's no backup battery
No
power.
backup battery. That's what he said.
There's
yeah.
no battery backup.
Yeah.
So that could alleviate some of the strain, some of the problems that they're experiencing.
Yes.
So maybe they'll sort that out going forward. But at the
Yes.
root of this, Professor, there's no competition. The Grand Bahama Power Company has no competition.
Okay.
It's a monopoly that they have been granted. We'll get to that a little later on.
Yes.
We have to speed up how we educate the people, Professor, so they'll understand that the purpose of ERCA.
Yes. Okay.
ERCA evolved out of the Public Utilities Commission.
Yes, that's correct.
That is supposed to regulate all utilities and to make sure that there is fair competition and to protect the citizens.
Yes.
That's what it's for, to protect the citizens, that they get value for money, that they get the service that they are due. Now
Yes.
we have complaints coming out of Grand Bahama that they are being billed when the power is off and load shedding, the bill is the same.
Okay.
They're not, if they are off for half a day, on for the other half a day, on and off, they have to pay the same amount. And if the equipment fails, in most cases, there is no repayment, there's no replacement of equipment. So if they are disconnected, we've received reports that there's a reconnection fee also. So not only you got to pay your bill, there's a fee added on top of it for you to be reconnected.
Okay.
So especially on the businesses, it's very frustrating because you're trying to keep the doors open. Your light is off. So now you didn't make any money that day or 2 days, but you got to pay.
Yeah.
And you lose thousands of dollars. Persons have said, they've called and expressed that they've lost thousands of dollars. And so it's hard to keep up.
It is hard, yes.
So we only bringing it up again to express the frustrations of those in Grand Bahama. Now, if there was competition, then you could move over
you
and
could
switch
move
over
over,
to somebody else.
Right, that's possible.
And that is what is needed in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama cannot rise. They cannot bounce back, as the program has stated. You can't bounce back with no power. Where you going to
No, you
bounce?
can't.
How
You
high could
can't.
you bounce?
You can't go nowhere, but down.
That's all you could do.
Yeah,
And that's what is
that's right.
happening.
Yeah.
So Grand Bahama needs stable power. So this is another year now where the whole summer and before the summer even started,
Yes.
before these problems were going on,
We're going on,
before the peak load hit.
That's right.
And it just got worse as we got into the summer months.
Yes, that's correct.
So 6 months maybe? So most of this whole year has been this frustration.
Yeah.
Now we're learning, Professor, Cat Island had a power outage.
Oh yeah, all kinds of things happening over there.
Cat Island, all kind of issues there.
Yes.
And then since we're talking about power, Long Island now.
Long Island.
Long Island
Harbor.
has had
Harbor Island too.
power failure,
Yes.
power outages.
Eleuthera as well.
Eleuthera, power outages. So we have an increased demand of everything, and I believe this is related to the increased amount of people in the country that we are burying our
Well, of
heads in the
course.
sand.
Yes. People who are biting us down.
Yeah, we have more people in the country. The resources have to share more, so we
Right.
need more power. They have to revisit all of our power needs.
Yes.
If you're gonna allow thousands and thousands of new faces into the country, you got to figure out how you can feed everybody, clothe them, give them power. You can need
That's right.
4 new hospitals at this rate.
Yeah, I think so. But say that hospital only for women and children. Say that's a specialty hospital. Ain't no man could go there. Ain't no boys could go there. What kind of crap is that? You mean to tell me we're
Boy.
taking our taxpayers' money, paying it to the Chinese, and it's supposed to be the man ain't quite sure whether it's going to be 50-50 in terms of Bahamians working there. But ain't no men going to be in that hospital. What happened to some to the men and the boys? What happened to them?
Well, if we don't put our foot down, you mentioned gender. You can have men showing up to the hotel and to the hospital and say, "Well, I identify as a woman." If that's the case,
Yeah, but
if that's what it takes to get
happened.
service.
Yes.
So all of this stuff we got to deal with
But
firmly.
they said it's a specialty hospital
I don't
for
agree.
women
I
and,
don't
and
agree with that.
children.
I don't
I
agree
mean,
with
what
that.
kind of crap is that?
Professor, we're supposed to be going to break, but let me say this while
Yeah.
we at it. Let me say this quickly, Professor.
Go ahead, quickly.
We pass up a deal with Great Britain. We ain't doing business with Great Britain. We're not doing business with America. I'm talking about at a high level when you're talking about hospitals and infrastructure.
Yeah.
But we're doing business with the Chinese. We're not doing business with the others. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well,
You
we got
leave
to
it
stop
there for
now
now.
because my producer's being very patient with me. This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. Bahamians, there's so many things that are happening, and you have to support the radio station. We tell you, I want to cover that rally on Monday night. That's next Monday coming. Okay? Because I told you the man complained about artificial intelligence. We cannot afford to be waiting for somebody to give us any information. We got to go and get it ourselves. So I'm asking you for your support to make sure that we report accurately and precisely. The thing is that artificial intelligence is causing a lot of problems. So even now with people who we're working with, we're not going to say they would deliberately try to mislead and deceive us. But we have to exercise that much more caution and restraint. It happened once with me. And I certainly don't want to let it happen again. I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you live on here. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there? Caller, come up. You on air? Yeah, go ahead, caller. Caller, we can hardly hear you. Mr. Producer, I'm not hearing anything. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, what you say? This Angela.
Yeah, this Angela.
Yeah, what you say?
You know, you had to come
Angela,
and catch the show.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, listen, I had to drop a bomb on us just now.
What you did?
I had to say, you know, we have our energy problem, and we get people using the energy that we ain't accounting for.
Okay.
And so all that is a part of our energy crisis. When you talk about demand and supply, and the fact that it leads to how we allow immigration to now take a toll on so many different aspects of our society.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
It's wide-reaching now when you look at how it's impacting us.
Very much.
And how
So.
it's influencing the direction and outlook of our country as perceived globally.
Yes.
When you talk about how you said, Mr. Thompson, about the international standard not being able to coin in.
Yeah, but
to
if some people want some foreigners talking about international standard, I don't have any input into that.
Mm-hmm.
You want class me, but them are the funny people out there. What kind of nonsense is that? You're going to tell me, hold on, caller. You're going to tell me that these are so-called international standards. You ain't had one single input from me. I can't accept that. And I don't know why our people in this country are accepting so-called international standards.
Yes,
Is international standards what they did now? Throw them people out, say they closing down the hotel. That's international standard too?
No, but that's the plantation mentality that we have not broken as yet. You know, we're breaking it, but we still have our leaders who still subscribe to that Jim Crow law.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so if we have not broken or if we adopted the lifestyle or the attitude of our slave masters and see our citizens as our servants, and we come disguised as to be the servant. Okay. But then when we get elected, we now become the masters, and the citizens or the voters are now the servants. That is what we have to recognize when we talk with the psyche, the flip on the switch. And we got to be faster on our draw in terms of how we recognize what we really want.
Yeah, I agree.
As leaders. Yeah. When we say you want to elect a leader, do we truly know who that looks like for any constituency?
I must say that you brought up a good point about yesterday. You were very accurate and constitutionally sound. I appreciate that. And I think I've got to go deep into that because that aspect that you brought up really has not been given the kind of attention that is necessary. It has to be done on radio. It has to be done on town meetings in the constituencies. That's why I tell the people, see, education is so important. We aren't going to get no change to better this country if people are not properly educated to understand how a government ought to function. Right. What their role is in making that a reality.
Right. Because it wouldn't be fair to the citizens because then you wouldn't be able to create or get the best out of that individual that you say is your citizen, because that's what we is. The government is the garden, and we used to see it, and they're part of nourishing us to grow us into what we need to be. What we see, weak men, women who are confused about their sexuality, men who are confused about their sexuality, all that stems from the relationship that the government play with the family Let the
Yes.
government play with the school.
Yes.
The government play with the church. Let the government play in our social life, our entertainment, our way of life. Everything about it is it is what the central command is in terms of when you talk about you walk with your dog, even how we live within our homes.
Yes.
That's all a construct program by our government.
Okay.
But if our intellect as a society can't upgrade, then those who in it will always see those who want to upgrade as the enemy. And if they have the influence,
Yes.
now the people only listen to who they feel making more sense, even though it may not be sense at all that they're listening to.
That is true.
You see, so
Very true.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to change that.
Yeah.
Boy,
So we
Anshul, that wasn't the only bomb that we have coming. But when you called, we was just getting to the hottest of the hot topics.
Let me let you go
Um,
because I'm
ye-
listening.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
well, thank you for your contribution.
Yes, buddy.
As
Okay.
always.
All right.
Listen, we have a situation where we understand, Professor, because see,
Yes. Sir.
we mentioned that there's a celebration going on at Celebration Key,
Yes.
but there's no celebration going on at Norman's Key.
Oh. Okay.
And that's what we want to get to. Professor, we have been commenting on news reports straight out of the newspapers that have been drawing attention to Norman's Key as well as Great Stirrup Key. Both of them. We have been commenting. 1 month it would be one, and then the next month it would be the other property. Both of these properties, there are claims of mistreatment of staff. There are claims of, to use the word, breaches. Now, off the air, we spoke about this, Professor. You seem to have a problem with the word breaches.
Yes, I do.
Because the labor
Particularly when it
director,
comes from the
Mhm.
director of labor. Either
yeah,
you need to understand what the law says.
mhm,
Are they violations of labor laws? Are they
Right.
violations of constitutional law?
right.
And we're not about no breaches.
So just so that the public understands, he weighed in going back 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Howard Thompson, the director of labor, said that when it comes to the Norman's Key claims, it's the worst that he had heard. Using his words, Norman's Key claims are the worst that I've heard.
That's what he said. Now, I understand, if I heard correctly on the news, that this was a Zoom meeting they had recently.
Mm,
The Minister of Labor and the Director of Labor
mhm.
were these people in Norman's Key. Not Norman's, yeah, Norman's Key.
In
that's
Norman's
right,
Key,
yeah.
yes.
Now, they say they had a Zoom meeting. And they made some remarks which I have a problem with. Some infractions that were made, or
Mhm.
violations of law that were made, which seemed as if they're kind of erasing that or allowing that to just slip. And I don't know why they didn't go there.
Well, Professor, I had a
Why
similar
they-
to you. Mhm, go ahead.
Why aren't they dealing with this better than that? They said they had a Zoom meeting. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the report had said. The labor
Right.
minister and the director.
Yeah, but I
I'm talking
think
with these people in Norman's Key.
yes, but I think the director himself, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to misquote anything or misrepresent anything. They may have had a Zoom meeting at that time, but I do believe that they paid a visit to the property also.
No, I understand this. The
Yeah.
recent report that I heard was just
Yeah.
about yesterday.
Okay.
So the Zoom meeting, when it was held, I am not sure because
Right.
the report didn't say that, right? But I would have thought that they would crack down on this
Sooner.
sooner than later.
Okay, so let's put it like this, Professor. The director was heard saying, "Not everywhere there's smoke, there's fire."
No, I heard that now.
Nah,
I heard that
now.
yesterday.
Say, not everywhere there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, what kind of crap is this?
Professor, there's an old saying, which is the opposite. Thousands and thousands of years old, we believe, that where there's smoke, there's
There's
fire. There's a reason why that's the saying.
Yes, there has to be.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, the fire may have been happening before you got there.
Exactly.
or the smoke may be building up to a fire.
So when I heard that, I say, but what are they saying now? Are they trying to let these principal personalities off the hook? Is that what they're saying?
Well, you had the same concern that I had, Professor. I've been in your class kind of long.
If we cannot manage
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
so-called keys where people are operating, why are we allowing it to happen in the first place?
Well, Professor, the
We should
best
just shut them down.
if they're not behaving, right? I don't have. There's a particular statement from Miss Pia
Pierre
Roll
Global
Glover.
Rule.
Yeah.
Global Rule. I think
Global
that's
Rule.
the name. Yeah. Okay.
I should have had that statement in front of me right now, where it was said that after having a conversation with Norman's Key, they promised not to commit certain offenses going forward.
I think I thought I heard some.
You heard that? You heard that, right?
Yes, I did.
Let me say that again, Professor. After sitting with the owners of the property, it was stated that certain breaches or infractions were found, but the property developers promised not to commit those offenses going forward in the future. Now, Professor, the way I feel about that is if you're gonna bend the law for the developer, why don't we go down to the prison? Let's go down to Her Majesty's prison, go up to the prisoners and ask all of them, hold up your hand if you promise not to do what you did going forward in the future. How many of y'all promise not to do it anymore? And whoever hold up their hand, let them come out.
Yeah, they come out through the gate.
Treat them the same way you treat the developer.
See, I have a problem with that, and I want you to. We got to find that statement because I know I heard that on the radio, and
It's a slap on the wrist.
but that's what I'm trying to say. They had to.
We ain't gonna do it no more.
They had the Zoom meeting, the minister and the director, and that was reported, right?
That's right.
We handling this thing properly.
Professor, we hauling offenders before the court in the front of cameras. We writing out the details of what they did. Why don't you come and tell us what the infractions were? Spell it out. This is the law they broke. A, B, C.
No,
and if
no.
there's a punishment,
See, I
off.
have a difficulty with the word infractions. What the other word they use?
breach.
Breach.
Yeah.
I want them to tell me what the labor laws violated, yes or no.
All right.
What the constitutional laws violated, yes or no. Tell me about no breach or no infraction. Let's be very specific. We have labor laws in the country, man. We have constitutional law in the country.
Mhm.
Why are you using these funny words about infraction and breach? Give me a break, man.
Professor, the claims on the ground from workers, boats, ferries be pulling up to Norman's Key with people from all nationalities. Where these people coming from?
That's a good question.
Who are they? Persons with foreign accents,
Yes.
all color hue, white, brown, beige, all kinds of people pulling in, pulling out. Do they have a right to be here? It is alleged that some persons travel on tourist visas seeking work. Some
Okay.
are without visas. Some are without work permits. All kind of combination of
And
offenses.
They are on Norman, reported today on
It
Norman's
is
Key.
reported.
Yes.
There are claims that they are on Norman's Key. Now, this last situation that broke loose was 10 expats were fired,
Yes.
20 Bahamians, 20
Yeah.
locals were
Yeah.
fired
Yes.
suddenly, abruptly. Now, one of the reports that came to us in the past, it is alleged that persons who speak up. Now, this report is coming from Norman's Key, but now my mind goes to Great Stirrup Key.
Yes.
There were reports that persons who speak up on the situation are targeted,
Okay.
fired in some cases, given a ticket to Nassau. They give you a ticket to Nassau. And that is what took place in this particular case. Person said your services are no longer required, and they're given a plane ticket to leave the property. I saw video, and I heard one gentleman say, "We are leaving. We gathered our things together to leave, and you still treating us like this?" That is what the young man said. Former employee. Now you fired us. Now you're treating me bad or treating me funny. So it's a see. We have to be careful how we allow foreigners to treat our people. We have to be cautious with Zoom meeting and whatnot. No, if you violate the law, you need to be held accountable. Everyone in the society is held accountable when they violate. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. Professor, you can see you. But most persons, and definitely the small man, has to pay the price.
Yeah, he is
You
paying
do
the
the crime, you do the time.
Yeah.
That's how the small man lives. But that is not how the wealthy, the powerful, the foreigner, the developers, that is
Yeah.
not how they're treated.
No, they're not treated that way.
It's not do the crime, do the time. It's do the crime. We have a Zoom meeting with you and
Yeah, you have
discuss.
Zoom meeting.
You discuss the
When I
matters.
heard them having Zoom meeting, I said, "Well, what kind of crap is this?"
Why don't have Zoom meeting with the fellas from Baintown who robbing the people? You don't have no Zoom meeting with them.
No, I have no Zoom meeting with them. So what kind of nonsense is this?
Just different justice for different strata of society, and it's wrong. You
If
can't
we
build a
have
society
not
like
yet
that.
learned
Yeah.
how to manage the country, you got these keys scattered all over the place, and you have these people have little kingdoms in this nation. I wonder why we have so many problems.
Professor, the weightiest
There
thing.
is no way to police these things.
No.
No police officers are there. No immigration officers are there. No defense force officers
No.
are there. So
No.
what do you expect to happen? Anything could happen in the middle of the night.
Right.
And you got these bunch of people in here,
Mhm.
all kind of funny things will be happening, and you have no way of tracking it.
And the reports have been coming in for months. So now a sting operation, let's say the positive side of it, a multi-department operation was carried out. Police, defense force, everybody. They carried out a sting on Norman's Key recently, and they reported not all of their findings, but they reported their findings. Professor, one of the claims that is being alleged is human trafficking. Now that's related to Norman's Key. I don't know if it relates to Great Stirrup Key. Some
Okay.
persons are alleging that there's human trafficking, persons passing through
Yes.
under questionable pretenses, but that is one of the things that is alleged. You don't take that lightly.
No, you don't.
That is a very serious matter. And you don't let things build up for months and months. So we've had reports coming in for many months. Workers have been saying what they've been experiencing. And anytime they speak up, I even heard the voice. I think one of the major media houses locally, one of the major media houses reported a British sounding lady, I believe a Caucasian, British, English sounding accent, came forward and speaking up on the matter. I can't recall which one of the properties, whether Norman's Key or Great Stirrup Key, Norwegian Cruise Lines. But the foreigner had to come and speak up,
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
where some
Yeah, you're
Bahamians
right.
were intimidated to speak up, because if you speak up, then you get cut off. What kind of thing that is? Persons working up to 70 hours
Yeah.
against the law.
Yeah, we
60
did hear
and
that, yeah.
70 hours, Professor,
Yeah.
and not getting the overtime that is due to you. First of all, it's illegal to work them kind of hours, but
You're right.
not being paid. And when you speak up or try to question them, you are mishandled, you're mistreated. So we can't allow our people to be treated like that. The Labor Department have to do better. Talking about not always when there's smoke, there's fire. Is fire there? Is fire on Norman's Key, and it's fire at Norwegian Cruise Lines, Great Stirrup Key.
Yeah,
Fire is there.
That was a foolish remark to me.
Not only fire, persons getting fired and mistreated in the Bahamas. No, man. Our people are the apple of God's eye, man. That's why people morale low. You're mistreating people, mishandling people. The government is mistreating, mishandling people, and then allowing foreigners to do the same thing. And all of it is wrong. That's why we had reports from our uniform branches that morale is low. Morale is supposed to be low in the Bahamas. It's God's nation and God's people. Low morale. No, man, just pay the people and don't mistreat them.
Yes.
The police force got to be asking for their money too and treat. We still ain't get no answer as to whether or not the police force has been paid their outstanding money. But we getting reports that the Bahamas has never collected as much money as we've collected in our history. Record-breaking money flowing. So we got to let our people know, don't feel about money there. We just got to get our hand on the money, get the right people in place who care about their fellow man, care about other Bahamians, and making sure we straight. That's what we need.
Yeah.
The money here, man. Do not do no harm to yourself. You all don't mistreat one another. Be patient with one another. Let's wait together till we get through this. This too shall pass. And these two parties shall pass who doing all this nonsense. That's what we need to do.
326-0272, 813-0271. Bahamians, we'd like you to call in and express your views on these many different national issues, smuggling operations in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Bahamians, when you have all these strangers and foreigners and aliens and outsiders, then you have drug smuggling, you have gun running,
Yes.
you also have other nefarious things happening.
All kind of illicit activity.
Illicit activity, yes.
And then you're not working. Our government is not working in a very in a strong way with international law agencies.
No, they're not.
It's
very-
weak.
We're not doing that.
It's weak. Immigration is weak. Policing is weak. Defense of our borders, all of it is weak.
Too weak.
All of it. No, man. Other phone numbers are 502-4571, 502-4572.
Okay.
If you use those numbers, just select option 2 and you'll come straight into the studio. Your call will be directed right into the studio. Professor, the voice of the voice. That's what Mr. Howard Thompson, Director
That's
of
what he
Labor, said. This is the claims that he's heard is the voice of the voice. Now, what's the punishment? A slap on the wrist? You all do better. Just pay your tax and keep carrying on smartly. No, man, everything ain't money. We need money. But everything
not
ain't
like this.
everything not like this, man.
No.
Not being mistreated.
They'll take you for granted all the time.
Right. No, man. So that's what's going on concerning a very disturbing trend with foreigners in large properties, claims of mistreating Bahamians and firing willy-nilly. And if you speak up for your rights, no. Article 24.1, as the professor has taught us, organize yourselves to protect your interests.
And that is what we have to get Bahamians to
Yeah.
start doing.
Unionize, association. Normanski, the Normanski Employees Association. That's what you do?
Yeah, they have to do that.
Yeah, Great Stirrup Key Employees Association. And look out for one another's interests. Don't allow someone to be mistreated because today is them, tomorrow is you.
Yeah.
Let's look out for one another on these jobs. We got to speak up for one another. We got to advocate for one another.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
So that's what's going on these properties. Professor, land issues in the Bahamas and the new act that has been passed. Professor, we read, for those that have not heard, the Land Registry Act, the Conveyancing and Law of Property Act.
Yeah.
These are new laws that have been
No
put in
legislation,
place.
Yes.
Let me read right out of the middle of the whole matter. If you purchase property in the Bahamas after July the 1st, 2022, and for any reason did not record that deed in the registry of records, maybe you did not have enough money to pay the VAT. Maybe your attorney forgot to record the transaction. That's July the 1st, 2022. As of June the 5th, 2025, you will no longer have legal title to that property despite having paid for it. You all hear that?
Despite having paid for it.
That is what was proposed. Now, I cannot say whether or not the bill as it was proposed was passed right into law as an act without any adjustment being made. I am reading from a letter to the editor that was written by an anonymous member of the Bahamas Bar Association. Anonymous. Now, Professor, I know you have a problem with the person being anonymous, but let's overlook that right now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, but I hear that. But see, I have a problem.
Professor, I know you have a problem.
I have a problem with people.
Yeah.
Who stay in the dark and throw rock at people. I have a problem with that.
Professor.
I look at you as being very suspicious.
But he throwing rock at people who may be stealing land or... Professor, you remember the article I read from the Privy Council? The Privy Council put out an article saying that...
Well, when the Privy Council says something, we know that comes from the Privy Council.
Yeah.
So we have no doubt about that.
We know what that is saying.
But when a particular personality or a grouping of persons are making statements purporting them to be genuine, but then they hide in the dark and throw rocks.
So let me explain for everybody in case they don't know.
Explain that.
An attorney, a person purporting to be an attorney, wrote to the editor of the Nassau Guardian on July the 4th. And he expressed problems that he or she had with the new bills, the Land Registry Bill and the Conveyancing and Law and Property Act and the Land Registry.
I think we have to stop you right there because we are going to a break, and I want to, the producers being very patient with me. Bahamians, these are very serious issues. We have to look at them objectively. We can't just allow people to be running circles around us and we're not doing anything about it. This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney Magada Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Now, Bahamians, remember, don't forget what I told you yesterday. We need you to support. You say you appreciate what Professor is doing, and I told you about the rally on Monday, the 28th, coming up. I want to be there, and I need your support. I told you about artificial intelligence is out there. A lot of misinformation. We cannot even rely on information from those who used to get it before. And I'm not saying they would deliberately and intentionally mislead you, but we have to do better than that now. We got to go and get the information ourselves. We have others who are dying, leaving this planet with tremendous institutional knowledge, and is in the ground. That is of no use to the Bahamian people. So that is why, Bahamians, we're asking you to give us your support. Please send me that email and say, Professor Sidney Magada Walter Thompson, we want to support you. Please put your telephone numbers on that email. Because I can read all those emails. I can look at some of those numbers and say, I can call you right there and then. Some matters could be said right there and then on the phone, on the ground. And we say, okay, let's get to work. Because Bahamians, we got to move quickly. Time is running out.
Yeah.
So we want to do that. And also support the show. Now, of course, the rally is next Monday coming. So we got to get that off the ground now. Send that email today. 7,000 plus of you. Send me that email that you're going to support. And I told you about the group that we have to have, the research group, 49 of them, groups of 7 people, because Bahamians, there's lots of information we got to dig up. How are we going to get sense of these things if we don't research it? We have to research it diligently, and it takes time to do these things. You're going to stay in the dark if we are not given the opportunity to do well. And I told you how the media has been gutted. Big gaps in the media. Huh? Many things are not being touched, Bahamians, and some people playing bo peep. Bahamians, we got no time for that kind of foolishness. The country is falling apart, Bahamians. We got all kind of problems. And those of you out there who say you want to be persons who want to represent the country, you got to get moving. You're still sitting. You have less, well, you may have about a little over a year. That's about it. Otherwise, you get left out in the cold. That's what's going to happen. So we got to get serious, Bahamians. Those of you who want to run and you feel God has called you to do it, fine. You got to get your program out there to the public. That's why we have the radio station right here. You can't be sitting down, and you got to get your team organized. We will organize our team. You organize your team. And that's what we have to do, Bahamians. We've got a lot of work to do. Brother Haile, go ahead.
Professor, you almost put me on a different course, because the persons who are putting themselves forward as prospects for members of parliament, I am not hearing them say what they're going to change.
No, they're not.
I'm not hearing what they're going to do differently.
Yes.
I'm not hearing I am only going to do right and be honest, and I am not going to lean towards no one-man rule. One man say what everybody does and everybody else pin up their mouth.
Well, that's what's been happening.
Well, why do we have to vote for 39?
Years.
We don't need to vote for 39 people.
Just vote for one
Just
person.
vote for one man, put him there, and we just do what he say.
Yeah.
That is what we are experiencing.
Yes, we have experienced that for 52 years.
And the Constitution is not designed for that.
No, it isn't.
And the founding fathers of the Bahamas did not envision one man rule, one man have all to say, 39 members of parliament. Nobody could deviate from what the boss say. King of the hill.
That is why I appreciated Hanschel when he called yesterday and today, because we're going to delve deep into that as we move forward. And Bahamians, you've got to take this very seriously, because we are in serious trouble.
Let me bring the piece of the trouble right here. From the London-based Privy Council. This is an article that appeared in the Tribune newspaper, January the 2nd, 2013. Why are you going way back there? Because the London-based Privy Council has reiterated concerns that the Bahamas Quieting Title Acts, not plural, not acts, the Quieting Titles Act can be used to steal land. That's from the Privy Council. That's from one of the lords sitting on the highest court of the Bahamas, which is based in London.
Yeah.
The London-based Privy Council is the highest court of the Bahamas. And one of them was overseeing a case involving 400 acres of land on Cat Island, a case whose participants included the ex-wife of ex-Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet.
Yes.
This is the Lord Justice who said the claim had to be overturned because after many years of one particular family, of Francis and Bristow, not to get into the deep places, may have problems with it, but I'm just leaving it right here, Professor. Many families are losing land because of the Quieting Titles Act introduced by the Free National Movement and former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingram. The PLP and the FNM are both upholding this act. The two are the same. The two parties result in you having no money. The two parties result in your land leaving your family. Both parties, the same result. Two sides of the same coin, 2 foot of the same pair of the shoe. When one brings an act to Parliament, the other upholds it. Most of the acts of Parliament remain in place. So this is the Privy Council saying that the Quieting Titles Act can be used to steal land.
Yeah.
So I leave that right there. And now we have new legislation. And Professor, I'll just leave it where we are seeing on July the 4th, a lawyer has come forward, a person purporting to be a lawyer,
yeah.
male or female, is saying that in his or her view,
Yes.
the amount of thought that went into this bill was limited, and that land can be lost because you have a team of government employees
Yes.
coming to your property, an adjudicator, a surveyor coming to your property and asking you to prove you own this. Where are your papers? And you have to pay. So if you don't have the money to pay, if you don't have, whether it's VAT, whether it's real property tax, if
Yes.
you do not have all of your matters in order, you can lose the land. If somebody else get information on your property, if you do not submit documentation, another person can submit documentation, paperwork on your property. And this government is going to issue a title deed to that person.
I think this is going to cause a lot of confusion. And this is why I would ask the question. I haven't yet examined the two pieces of legislation. Let me just say this, Bahamians. I don't know of any town meetings that were held on these two pieces of legislation that they are now discussing in the House of Assembly.
And I think they actually passed it. They passed it.
It done pass?
They passed the bill without going to Baintown, Foxhill, Marathon.
Okay. We're going to come back to that, Brother Hannah. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Take it off, Professor. Professor, we can talk about this land some other day or what. I didn't do my research. I was holding it.
No, well, Brother Hyler brought it up, and
okay. I said can hit this some other time, but first let me hit this.
Okay.
You know why? Last time I tell you, thank Brent Simonet. Brent Simonet did research, and listen here. Before they pass that bill, they think first I can tell you, they think they slick. You got to get everybody off the land. All these people on this land, you have to get them off because, Professor, if you on that land, for government land, 30, I think Brent Simmons say 30 years, and any like regular crown land, real Bahamian on real crown land for 12 years and no one interrupt you, the land is yours. Now, when they pass this bill, they got to send papers to everybody on these lands. You can't be sleeping and playing, because if you don't send paper to interrupt the people, the land is the people you're on. A lot of Bahamians be sleeping and they playing chess, especially playing checker.
Yes.
Before they pass that bill, everybody on crown land, on government land, who ain't supposed there, give them interrupted, give them a letter. Just someone give them a letter, say, come off this land. Because if you don't interrupt these people, they own the land. Hey,
Okay.
Professor, let me say this. I can tell you this because you do research. Brent Simmons is fair use, education use only. That's the only man. I listened to it, Mr. Professor.
Yeah.
He's the only one did research. That's why when I come on that day, I say, thank. I had something else to say because we talk about something else. I say,
Yes.
thank Brent Simmons. Brent Simmons do research. So if you see anybody on your land, say, mister, can a policeman say, get off my land? Because if they be on that land, interrupted for 20 years or 12 years and crown land for 30 years, the land is dead. So, Professor, anybody you see on crown land, you cat the people there and say, listen, interrupting, come off this land. Professor, I can fix it the other day. That's all I got for the day.
No, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Professor, I'm wondering if this is the government's answer to our housing crisis, to simply take property. Now, anybody from the office of the Prime Minister or from the government can feel free to call the show if anything is being misrepresented here. Professor, if you do not see a notice in the newspaper, if you miss a notice, if you are traveling, if you are away, if you cannot produce your documents, if you cannot find a surveyor, if you cannot afford a surveyor, or what if one of your neighbors claims a part of your land? I'm reading from this letter. This informal arrangement could now result in the loss of land that becomes permanently registered against you by a government-issued certificate. Professor, when I went into Fox Hill, person told me to be careful. I went on the ground in Fox Hill, and I found, because the properties was printed, where the location of the properties were printed in the newspaper, I went to those persons' homes, and I told you, some were in the house watching cable, some was in the house cooking. Some of them could cook good. I could smell by the pot. It was really good. They could not imagine that the house that they live in for decades was in the newspaper, and a notice came from the office of the Prime Minister saying, we are acquiring your land.
Yes.
Bring your papers or state your interests. Professor, the same persons who did not even know about the notice, I didn't follow up as the latest that is what is happening right now.
Yes.
But another notice came out June the 18th.
Yes.
Notifying those persons that the Minister of Housing is now responsible and in power of possession of those properties. The same properties we warned people about to go and look over your matter. 20 properties in Fox Hill. We also stated, Professor, that this may not be the end. It's beginning in Fox Hill, but this may not be the end. Since then, Marathon notices has come out concerning property in Marathon, and notices have came out related to property in Engliston. So that's 3 constituencies and counting now where your land could appear in the newspaper, and you can be told to bring your papers, and the government is acquiring your land. And I don't know if they're saying when they're going to pay you, but historically, government has not paid in a timely fashion, and in some cases, not paid at all.
Yeah,
we interviewed Miss Veronica Owens,
Yes.
who stated that her mother had the same experience many years ago. Right. Government said they were acquiring the land, documents signed, no money.
She's not the only one either.
So what is this all about, Professor? And
That's an excellent question.
And so quietly. So I am afraid. Now, I am highly disappointed in the Bahamas Real Estate Association. My disappointment, mixed feelings, but my disappointment is that I've seen two different newspaper articles where BREA, or the Bahamas Real Estate Association, has serious problems with the new conveyancing act and the VAT amendments. Let me read exactly what it says. The president of the Bahamas Real Estate Association, Carla Sweeting, told Guardian Business that her members have serious problems with the recent Value Added Tax Amendment Act and the Conveyancing and Law of Property Amendment Act.
Yes.
Ms. Sweeting said they are now active and we have serious problems with them. What we have disseminated to our members is that from what we understand about the legislation, the government did not give us any procedures to follow. You heard that?
That's very serious. Yeah, I heard that.
No procedures.
No procedures to follow.
Stamp the law, no procedures, no details, just rush. The Conveyancing and Law of Property Amendment Act came into force on July the 1st, 2025.
Okay.
And stirred significant controversy within the real estate and legal fraternity. The act now allows for a change in the way VAT is paid on real estate, and it replaces Section 40 of the old act with the VAT needing to be paid in full within 180 calendar days of execution of the conveyance. Let me repeat that again. The government is saying pay your VAT in 180 days. That's the limit. And it adds that all parties are now responsible for paying VAT on property. The participants, the lawyers, and the real estate agents. Without reading further, just to summarize, because the time is going.
Yes, it is.
Professor, the government is going to hold everybody liable or fine everybody is liable. If we don't get our VAT money, we coming after all of y'all.
Yes.
That is the concern that is raised here. The issue that I now have with the Bahamas Real Estate Association, they are not warning the people by town hall meeting. Do y'all know that y'all about to lose your land?
That's right.
Most of y'all. So in other words, the Bahamas Real Estate Association is saying, hold on. The VAT and the payment and the procedure, we have a problem with the VAT, and the government may be taxing us or fining us. With such a powerful position of authority, and the main concern highlighted over and over again is we are going to get fined for VAT. That's the major concern.
Right.
When person's going to lose their house and be out in the cold
Yes.
with no house, no money, nowhere to live
Serious, yes.
with their families, generations of properties land is going to be taken away from them unless persons like yourself, myself, and others intervene, wake up the people who can't wait to vote, can't wait to vote for somebody.
Who are they voting for? Are you voting for the right person?
The two major parties are dispossessing you through immigration and land loss. You can write that down, Professor, and sign it. Dwayne Hyler said. The two major parties are colluding to weaken, to ruin the finances, the land holdings, and the sovereignty of the Bahamas. F&M and PLP. Take your pick. Both are bringing us to the same place, to nothing.
Bahamians, we have some very serious problems, and we have to look at. Has this act, the two of these acts already been passed?
They passed them.
Wait a minute now. These fellas really ain't playing at all.
While we celebrating and Junkanoo and all of that.
And then, of course, the Junkanoo controversy is still on.
I didn't touch the Junkanoo.
I know that's another issue again. They're gonna have some so-called Junkanoo authority.
Junkanoo authority.
We got all kind of authorities around here. I mean, we
And
must
no
have got
power.
a thousand authorities.
More power for the government and no power for the people.
Damien's, oh man, this is terrible. We are in terrible shape.
Professor-
Please give us your support, Bahamians. I said,
Yes.
send me an email. I need 7,000 or more of you to send me that email to say you're going to support Professor Sidney McGarta, Walter Thompson. We have a number of things we want to do.
Yeah.
Please put your telephone numbers on the emails, and we will get back to you. Go ahead, Brother
Professor, a
Hyler,
quick
before we go.
notice from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Everybody bathe early tonight and wash all your clothes early tonight. The Water and Sewage Corporation is saying from 10 p.m. this evening, there's going to be reduced pressure, either low pressure or no pressure, no water, from 10 p.m. tonight until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, because they're doing some preventative maintenance at the Blue Hill Roads power station. So it's very important. Bathe early, wash your clothes early, wash the dishes and everything early. 10 p.m. Many areas are going to be affected with low pressure or no water
At
pressure.
all. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad you did that. This is Professor Sidney McGarta. Walter Thompson will be here again tomorrow and also on Wednesday. We're going to have special guests on both of those days. No, today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We have a special guest coming in, and also on Thursday, and then Friday will be open line. Famous, we got a lot of problems. Please send me that email, the state of the nation 242@gmail.com, and say, Professor, I am prepared to support what you're doing. Please put your phone numbers on the email. Have a very pleasant afternoon and be safe, Bahamians, because we need God's help in helping us to move forward. This is Professor Sidney McGarta, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Have a pleasant afternoon.